Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and I am actually here today on a Monday to go live with you. So I will, show you guys the card. We're going to be making a card very similar to this one in just a minute. It is a tri-fold pocket card. I modified the measurements just a little bit, but we're going to make one together. I tried to pre-cut everything ahead of time, so hopefully this will move quickly. But I have a stop at 1:45. So as you know, 1 hour should be great for a live and to hang out and to make a card together. So as you guys are coming on live, or even if you're watching in the replay, be sure to say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. So I have a plan this week. My great hope this week is that I can do a couple of extra lives in the daytime. I'm going to try to do them around lunchtime each day to give you some ideas and to also get caught up. I feel very behind. My son was homesick all last week, and he's feeling much better. And he's back to school today. And I just want to dive into all these new products that I've been talking to you about. So we're going to do some lives this week. I'm going to do my best to get a schedule out to you, and we'll have some fun with this. So I'm not going to do too much talking. We're going to get started with the card here. So I will go down to the table here in just a moment. Hi, Dolores. How are you? Hi, Patricia. Dolores is shouting out from Nebraska, and Patricia is from Montana. I'm so happy to have you here. So I just want to give you guys just a few quick things. So the first thing is the October host code. We're going to be focusing on online exclusives today. If you see me pausing, it's because I keep seeing my Wi-Fi literally going up and down and up and down, and I'm not sure why. Okay, so here is our tri-fold card for today. I'm going to show you two versions of it. This one is with our Meandering Meadow Suite. I'm just going to untie this here. Okay, and then I'll just open this up for you. And here are each one of the little panels. Okay, so you can see these panels are shorter. We'll talk about this. And then on this one, I just put in a little tea bag. I'll show you where I got the idea for that. And then just like a little gift, or, just being thoughtful and who you're going to send that to. I don't know if you can tell that I have Wink of Stella on this one. I just put it on the flowers, but that is the other insert. And then we have our little embellishments on here. And then it just folds closed like this. This is a great way to show off the designer series paper in this upcoming glimmer paper. So beautiful. So we'll be talking about that. Okay, so that's the first card. And this is the one that basically we're going to be making today. I'm going to use slightly different papers, but it's the same concept. But since we're focusing on online exclusives, I also wanted to show this to you with online exclusive product that is actually available today. And so here is another version here. And then here we have the full panels that you can see so that they're loose. The other one was glued. All right. But this one, I just did a different tea bag here. And then let me just show you the other side too. So I'll take these out. This is where ideally you could write your little note, whatever you want to say. If you want to put a third note in there, you could. And then here is what it looks like on the back. Okay, so these are all online exclusives. This one is available now. And can you believe a one horse open sleigh? Oh my gosh, it was totally leaving my mind there. But yeah, let's go ahead and make these, and we'll kind of chat about it as we're putting it together. And the thing that gave me the idea was Patrick had given me this. I love tea, by the way. So he had given me this box, and it has all of these different teas in it. And since we're coming up on that time of year where it's getting colder in certain areas, and we like to have warm cups of tea, or you want to give somebody just a little thoughtful something. I thought that the pocket card would be really cute for that. So we have all of these different flavors here. Of course, you can match the bags to your designer series paper, but that's where I sort of got that idea from. So, okay, let's go ahead and make the card. And oh, here's my pieces here. Let me stand up. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. So I pre-cut most of the pieces, hopefully, but let's see what we can get done here. I'm just going to back up my chair. Okay. So this is the one that we are going to do live, and I'll go through measurements with you in just a minute, and I'll get a project sheet to everybody, most likely tomorrow. Okay. Now, this was the original size of the trifold pocket card. My upline Wendy had actually done a version of this a few years ago using a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And what our cardstock, I should say, this is Fresh Freesia. But I decided to scale it down to a smaller size since we're working with 6 by 6 designer series paper. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, part of the Meandering Meadow Suite is this center straight ribbon, which is like a vanilla ribbon with some pecan pie stitching through it. And then we also have, as part of that suite, the adhesive back dragonflies and birds. I went over this last week, but I'm just going to go over it really quickly again. And then we have this gorgeous paper. This is called the Meandering Meadows 6 by 6 Designer Series paper. You get 4 patterns of each design here, and they are just the most beautiful. And I just thought they were like the perfect sort of background that we're working with in particular for like English tea or tea and meadows and all of that. And then here is the stamp set. These are the coordinating dies, but I did cut them out. And let me just show you that. Okay, so this is what they look like here. All right, so the reason that I have this cut in is because this stitching actually cuts out, like when you get your full panel here, but you actually still get design if you're cutting into the paper. So it's kind of like a twofer with that particular die. So I just wanted to show that. But we have some dies that cut in, and then some dies that cut out, and then like independent die pieces as well. Okay, so there is that. I know that DSP is so beautiful. Now they had, this is separate from the suite, but I wanted to mention it. They have this 3-color glimmer paper, and it is called 3-color glimmer, 12 by 12 specialty paper. Comes in 3 colors. You get 2 of each sheet: Highland Heather, Petal Pink, and Pretty Peacock. And I did use Petal Pink with the One Horse Open Sleigh paper pattern. You can see that here. Let me close this. That'll probably be the easier way to do this. Okay. So right here, you can see it is like added there. And then we're going to use the Highland Heather on the card that we're making now. So let's go ahead. There are quite a few pieces. I'll go through the pieces as we're making the card, but it's simpler than you think. It's just cutting. All right, so let me open this up and just show you what this measurement is. So this is a piece of crushed curry cardstock. You can use your 8.5 by 11 for this. So we're actually going to trim the 11-inch side down to 9 inches. And when it's cut this way, to 9, this is where we're going to do 2 of our score lines. And the first one is going to be at 3 inches. But what I was doing was going just a hair under the line there so that you can still see it. And then scoring. So we're going to score at 3. And then we're going to score at 6. And again, and I don't have this flat, so let me see if I can get this. It did, it still scored like really well, but let me go just a hair, just so that I can see that number 6 line. And I'm going to score again. And then we're going to turn it the other way. So we're going to turn it the 8.5 by 11 way. Okay, so the 8.5 by 11 way here. And I'm going to score it at 3 inches on this side as well. And this will create our pocket. Okay, so 3 inches here. And so what that leaves us with, when we fold this, it should measure 5.5 inches, which means lengthwise, this will fit in a medium envelope. Okay, it's going to be more narrow. But if you do, put several pockets in here, or you do put a tea bag or some sort of a little gift in there, that's going to add some bulk to it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and so I'm going to get my bone folder here. And what you want to do, and I did struggle with this a little bit. You have your score lines that have been pre-scored, but when you go to close this, and this is up to you, you might not want to add the score lines. You might just want to do this like eyeballing it, and then with your bone folder, you want to go just under the score line and fold. So just so that you can still see it. Okay, and then we're going to come in from the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. Now, each time that I did this, I still had a little bit sticking out. Can you see that right there? And that happened to me with each card that I made. So what I ended up doing was just trimming it down. But if you guys have any tips or anything like that, let me know. All right, so I'm just going to line this up. And we're just going to score again with our bone folder. Just get a nice smooth edge on that, or as smooth as we can anyway. So it's just a hair, but I just wanted to point that out because that happened to me each time I did this card. And you can fold it this way too, but you see how it sort of bumps a little. So I would just trim that off like in the very end, but totally up to you how you want to handle that. All right, and so then we have our inner pieces and our outer pieces, and you can decide how you want to do this. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 here. All right, now what we're going to do is actually fold this panel down, but I'm going to tuck these in first. Okay, and you're like, but wait, I can't see the gorgeous design. And I'll come back around to that in just a minute. But, oh, these are actually the outside panels. I'm sorry. This is for the outside of the card. Bear with me. Okay, so here are our inside panels. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then same thing down here. 1, 2, 3. And the reason that I extended the panels and made them longer from the original is because once we cut in this little bit here with our circle punch, you're going to, either not see the paper, you'll see that, which I don't think it's the end of the world to see the cardstock, but I wanted to give you both options. Okay. So let me just, what we're going to do is we'll do the inside first. We're going to punch out these little circles, and then we'll flip it around and we'll do the outside. And then these are going to be our inserts, okay, that will pop in here. And then these are going to decorate the outside of our card. And I'll go through that in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to start gluing these panels down. I'm going to start right here. And this is what the other side of the paper looks like. But I will say I definitely prefer all of the landscape sides. I'm not even gonna pretend, but I do think that they're beautiful for layering. This paper, by the way, is going to be available to customers starting November 7th. I'll probably say that a couple of times throughout the video, just as we go along. Online exclusives. If you guys are like me, I have a tendency to curl up on my couch with a catalog, flip through the pages of the catalog, and I forget all about the online exclusives. There are so many great things in the online exclusives, but sometimes I feel like I need to bring attention to it. They've been very, very popular, especially right when they launch. But it's just one of those things where I feel like I should talk about it, a little bit more. So I do, really want to bring a focus to that. Now, while this one isn't, going to be available until November 7th, we do have online exclusives that you can scroll through right now and get right now, including the one horse open sleigh. So here, I'm going to start gluing my inside panels in. And you don't have to go all the way down to the bottom with your panel, but I did. Okay. So, and just to give you some measurements here, this is a 2 3/4 inch panel by 5 1/4 inch, and I have 3 of these. Okay, and then the smaller panel is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and there are 3 of those. Okay. I just thought that this was so beautiful, and I can't wait to work with this. I'm definitely going to be offering a class with this. We've had some very interesting inventory stuff happening. I'm working on the autumn class behind the scenes right now. But I'm really looking forward to designing a class with this and having a class with this online exclusive. I did it with One Horse Open Sleigh as well. And I think I'm just going to keep going because I've absolutely been loving the things that they've been coming out with. And there's also a bundle called Fluffiest Friends, which I didn't get yet, but I know people are absolutely loving and getting. That will also be available November 7th. Okay, so with this panel, what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2-inch circle punch, and we're going to put 3 little sort of half circles. I would say probably about a third of the way in. But I'm just going to line this up here. And you can see, like when we close this, it's going to be the top. So I know that it might look weird, but just bear with me there. And so I'm just going to line this up literally with the score lines. And just go about that far down. Okay, so just a little bit less than half. You could go half if you want to, because you got all kinds of designer series paper to see on the inside. All right, and then I'm just going to try to, I didn't mark it or anything, but I'm just going to try to line up with my score lines here on either side and go down slightly. I'm okay if it's not perfect. But you could go through with a ruler and mark this so that you get this exactly right if that's what you want to do. Okay. I usually just eyeball things. I'm going to do one more here. Okay. And then you can decide if you want to glue your panels down or not. Like for me, I was really only concerned with gluing the edges down. If you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you hang on to some of your older like tear and tapes and things like that, sometimes they offer like a unique size. So this is our standard tear and tape size, and this was one that came in the Paper Pumpkin kit. It was a little more narrow. You can just cut this in half if you would want to, or use whatever adhesive you like. But I would use as little adhesive as possible, and you can seal up either side. So that was just, I happened to have that left over from a kit, so I thought I would mention that. So those are our inside panels. Let's go ahead and do our outside panels. We'll decorate those, and then we'll do some stamping. And you can decide, how you would want to decorate up your card. So what we're going to do, we have 3 panels here. This is the 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch size. We're going to do 3 of these in the Highland Heather Glimmer paper. And then this is 2.5 by 5. So for the outside, the DSP is 2.5 by 5 inches here. All right, and we're just going to line these up. But what I'm going to do is with my glimmer paper, I'm actually going to put it down with the tear and tape. So I left my paper out. I didn't leave it with the backing. I recommend leaving your glimmer paper in the packaging that has that nice, strong chipboard backing, because it will keep your glimmer paper nice and straight. I left mine out of the packaging, and it starts to curl a little bit. And you can certainly get it back in shape. It's not, it's not terrible, but just one of those things where if you see mine curling a little bit, that's why. Okay. So we're just going to add some of this. and I will go back to comments here in a second. I want to try to keep our live moving along because we have a limited period of time. And I will mention the extra stamp set that I brought in that I think goes beautifully with Meandering Meadow. I think that there's many things that are going to coordinate with it really well. Something Fancy Dies is one of my favorites that we have like in terms of the dies in our collection right now. And I think that that will go with this absolutely beautifully. Hang on one second. I'm just getting my line up. There we go. We'll put that one down. And then let's put our other panel down. Let me see. Might be able to go a little bit faster with this, but I think I'm low. I think I'm going to have to refill this. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll just put that right on top. That's my Stampin' Sew Plus, by the way. I use that very often. And then go back to our tear and tape for this. Oops. Sorry. That's what I get for rushing, right? Okay. And what was I saying? Oh, so there were a few different things that I brought in to go with Meandering Meadow. I did not use the Something Fancy dies with it yet, but I guarantee you I will. That will definitely be happening. But what I did use today was the Deckled Circles dies. And I kept the dies minimal. There's a whole die set that goes with Meandering Meadow, but I didn't actually use the dies on these cards today. I just used the Deckled Circles to make like a simple layering. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. And then Coffee with Friends. If you guys have Coffee with Friends, I think that it goes so fabulously with this set, with the papers, with everything. And I did actually stamp the girl sitting there. In this case, we'll say with tea instead of coffee because we're sending tea to people. But you might be sending instant coffee packets, or you might be sending a hot cocoa packet to somebody, you know, if it fits. They have those like hot cocoa, like the freshly ground chocolate at like a local chocolate shop that we have here. So you could do that in a couple of different ways. You could certainly convert this to Halloween, and you could, you know, use your Halloween papers with this and do a little trick or treat with this one. Okay. And then we'll do our last panel here. I always feel like it takes a little bit longer with tear and tape. I should have reloaded my my Stampin' Seal Plus before I started, but I'm always designing on the fly and going live last minute, but I sincerely plan to have tomorrow's project done ahead of time. That is my plan. Okay. And I hope that Connor's doing well at school today. I was a little bit worried about it. It's a little bit bumpy when we're back from, you know, being sick because he was off schedule. So hopefully that's all going well. Okay. And so we have this panel here. And let's just check on the time. 1:15. We're doing great if I looked at that right. And here we go. All right. And then I'm just going to put this panel down. I have been wanting to make this card for years. And I was going to make the 12 by 12 version. That was what I started with. And I thought, you know what, this isn't going to, and I mean, there are ways that you can stretch out your 6 by 6 paper. You know, if you need longer sizes, of course, you could do it in like pieces or layers. You could put like a piece of the glimmer paper in the center. But I just thought to myself, you know what, I think I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller and just see, you know, how it goes from there. Okay, so here is our outside. Here is our inside. I'm just going to fold that, okay? And then we'll decorate the front with this piece here. And we'll do like our little hello. And of course, if you want to just stamp it right on here, you feel like you don't need this because you already have your glimmer, you could do that. You could keep it really simple, okay? But let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to get some of these little scraps out of the way. Okay. Here we go. All right, so here are those deckled circles. I don't have them all in here, but I highly recommend these. Absolutely love them. There's a bunch in here. Love the range of sizes too. And then here is Coffee with Friends. This is the stamp we're going to be using from Coffee with Friends, but of course we're going to make it tea today. All right, and so because I'm going to be doing a little bit of coloring with Stampin' Blends, I'm going to be using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then I'm also going to be using my Highland Heather ink. Okay, let me get, don't mind my, I always like do some stamping on my scrap paper. So yeah, I think we'll just leave it on this side. Let's start with this panel here. Actually, we could just do this one first. Let's get out our Highland Heather. And we're going to do Hello in our small deckled circle. Okay. I don't do the hello greeting enough. So there's that one. And then let's do, I will cover that little blip probably with a little, whatchamacallit, a little bird or a dragonfly from the embellishments. And then we're going to do a happy birthday. Okay. All right. And then for our girl, we're going to just ink her up with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Okay. I'm going to stamp her right down in the corner. This way you still have space to write if you want to. All right, so here is the original, okay, and how I colored her. So I'm just going to follow that. Okay, so for her skin, I'm using the natural tone blends in the lightest combination. Actually the lightest color, which on mine is listed as 1000. And I'm not going to do any, super fancy blending today, particularly with skin tone. I'm just going to do like a single tone here. But you could choose whatever skin tone matches your friend or, whatever occasion or sentiment that you're trying to do. And you could definitely blend your natural tone blends to get some pretty amazing results. I typically keep it simple. Now I'm going to show you a little fun trick with putting some boots on her, but I am going to color her feet anyway, just in case you decide you want to keep it exactly the way that they have it. Flip-flops would be just fine. Okay, and then for her shirt, we're going to do our Fresh Freesia combo in the Stampin' Blends. I'm going to go light all over, and then we'll just put some dark in those like little folds that the artist put in. Is that right? Yeah. That the artist put into the drawing, the design on the stamp. Okay, we're going to use Pebbled Path for her hair, and we're going to use Night of Navy for her pants, but of course you could change this to whatever color combo works best for you. Daffodil Delight would have been a great option for her shirt on this one, or even the pants, just depending on your style. Okay, and then I'm going to take the dark. I'm just going to add just right around those lines, right into those folds, just a little bit of color. And again, this is not anything fancy. It's just its most basic, but it allows you to create some two-tone look with the color. I'm going to go back in with light. I really don't need to, but go back in with light and just soften it up. Okay. All right, and then let me get my Night of Navy. And same thing, we're going to start with the lighter and go all over the pants. Draw color, I should say color. I'm going to leave the mug, the tea mug, white. Okay. I also didn't color the steps. You certainly can. And I think it would look great. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to take dark, and in those places where they either have creases or where we might see shadow, so like the bottom, the pocket here, under the leg, make it a little bit darker. Okay, and those creases and the crease here, just add a little bit. Okay, and it just creates that shadow. I honestly think that that's fine, but you could go back in and blend the colors, you know, even a little bit more if you would want to. Okay, and then I'm going to get my Pebbled Path combo, and we're going to work on her hair. So we're going to do the lightest color all over first. So in our Stampin' Blend combos, there, you know, in each shade, there is a light and a dark combo typically. There are some exceptions with our color lifter, with the natural tone blends, instead of it being, you know, it's like two similar tones, light, medium, that type of thing. And then I'm going to come back in with the dark Pebbled Path now, and up by her ponytail, in her root, just going to add a little bit more color here. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to layer a little bit more of the light. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. And hopefully I'm still live. Okay, and I didn't check my internet connection in a hot minute there. Okay, so for the next part, there's just a little bit, just the tiniest bit, this is totally optional, of copper clay light inside the mug. Okay, and then I took our Pool Party Dark. I ran through my Pool Party Light, or I would probably use the light. But I'm going to use my Pool Party Dark. And this is just something that I like to do, where I go in and kind of create just a little bit of an outline. I try not to change any of the color, but just go around the outline of the stamped image and create just a little bit of dimension here around her. Just make it sort of stand out from the white. Now, because this is Pool Party Dark, I'm actually going to go in with the color lifter after and just soften it a little bit. Color lifter isn't really an eraser, but it will lighten up color in certain areas. Okay, so the color lifter has a white cap, and I'm just going to go back in, and I'm just going to go around, not fully in it, but just around the edging of the Pool Party Dark, and soften it. You see how that's just softening just a little bit? Okay. If it was Pool Party Light, I probably wouldn't do it. Okay. So there we go. Just going to lighten that up. All right. And then for the fun little trick with her boots, there is actually a boot stamp. This is the other side of one of the pretty scenes that I had done with the original card. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if I can put the boots on her. So I feel like I need to talk louder, because whatever work they're doing outside is so loud right now. So I'm just going to stamp the boots twice. Okay. I don't have to worry about that inner boot. I just want the outer boot. And then there is a die, a coordinating die, that will cut this out, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut them out really quick, especially because we're going to be cutting out that inner boot anyway. But this is just, I thought this was really fun, so I decided to do this. Now I'm going to show you what the full boot looks like, but I'm going to trim it down, and you'll see why I trimmed it down. Okay. So there's one, and then let's get our other boot. Okay. If any of you are here, you're still here live, let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear that background noise. I can't tell. I'm hoping that my headphones are blocking it, but I might have to re-record the audio. I hope not. Let's see. Okay, so here are our two boots. Now, if I would leave the full boot on her, you can see it kind of goes up into the jean. So I just decided to trim it down so that it's like just above an ankle boot. And it actually fits her really well. So I just thought that that was so cute. Just a fun, different way, a different, idea for using the boots. And so we're just going to pop the boots on her real quick. And I'm just going to glue them down. So, she's having her morning tea before she's going to go out and garden in the meadow. You can create that whole scene and that whole vibe if you have a friend or a family member, somebody who is an avid gardener or a tea drinker. I think that they might really appreciate this. So I'll put this one down. Okay. And I just wanted to make it so that her foot's in it, her leg is still inside the boot. Okay. Corinne says, wonder if the boots, shoes from them bones will fit on her. I wonder if they would. I would have to check it. I would have to try it and see. But what we would do next is add our little embellishment to this one. Okay, so maybe I could do a Halloween version of this card if I have enough time. But that I would definitely try that, Corinne, and see. So I'm just going to put a couple of little dragonflies here, just like I did with the first one. All right, and so that's that first layer there. All right, and then for the second layer, and let me see how I'm doing on time, 1:30. Okay, we're getting there. All right, and I'll just pop these back in. So let me just go ahead and get my second layer. Now these I actually cut to 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 so that I could fit as much as I could of our wheelbarrow. But I would actually recommend doing it slightly smaller than this because you can see these little corners are getting bumped. It just seems like it's a little too tight of a squeeze inside the pocket card. So I do think that the better size would be 2 1/2 by 5. But you can play with it and see what works best for you. So for this next one here, we are going to get our Memento ink out again. And we're going to stamp. I'm actually going to do this off of the table because this is a slightly larger stamp. Okay. And then I'm just going to do this at an angle. Try to fit it in the full panel there. And then there was like a little shadow stamp that came with the stamp set. I'm just looking around to see if I can see the stamp set, and I don't, so I'm just going to keep going. But this is our little shadow stamp here, and I'm just going to stamp this little shadow right under the wheel and under the little stopper or the leg of our wheelbarrow. Okay, and then let me go ahead and close that up. Right, and then let's go ahead and color this one. So I try to keep all of the colors very similar. All of the bloom flowers, all of the like regular shaped flowers, I just went in with Fresh Freesia Light and just colored them all. Now you can make this multicolor. You could match back to the designer series paper. I was just trying to do this rather quickly. So I just went in and colored all of these first. And then I used Lost Lagoon Light for all of the leaves that are kind of coming down and popping up. Okay, so just kind of going in, same thing, just going in kind of quickly and coloring these through. Okay. Right. And then I took Lost Lagoon Dark and I started kind of going into those areas between the leaves and the flowers, just to try to make it look a little bit darker, a little bit more recessed in those areas. Okay. Just gonna go around. And then these little sort of fluffy things that were coming up out of, I'm so sorry, I don't know the proper names of these flowers, but I went in with Fresh Freesia Dark and just tried to add just little spots of colors to these, just to try to make it look slightly two-tone. If I had more time, I probably would have incorporated some blue and some yellow, maybe pops of pink, and I would have, I think, matched it back just a little bit more closely to the paper, but it's still going to look really, really pretty. And then here, I'm using Pebbled Path. I'm going to use light all over the wheelbarrow part, like this, the holder part of the wheelbarrow. I'm going to try not to go over my leaves. Okay, I'm going to leave the rim white. I'm also going to leave the little center of the wheel white, the little hubcap on the wheel. I'm going to leave that white. I'm going to use the dark Pebbled Path on the bar and the legs. Okay. And you could do whatever combination you want for this. I will confess, I don't work outside nearly as much as I should. I am not an excellent gardener, although I really did want to try harder this year, and I did give up on it. I probably shouldn't admit that, but I did. I totally gave up on it. And there's always next year. Okay, and we had a frost advisory overnight. That was our first one. I think it was our first one. Now for our wheel, I'm going to do basic black light, just so that there's some difference in the color between Pebbled Path. Okay. And then for the handle, I can't remember if I colored that or not. I'll look back at the original image here. It looks like I got colored with Pool Party, maybe not on purpose. All right, so I'm going to do that highlight just around with Pool Party Dark again, just for consistency, since we did that with the first one. It's more of like a sketchy type coloring here. Yeah, I did it again. I'll just color it. I'll just color it Pool Party Dark then. Okay. And then I am going to get my color lifter. I'm going to do that same exact thing where I'm not going over the whole thing, just the edges. Just trying to lighten that up so it doesn't look harsh. Okay, just soften that a little. And then I did take some Pool Party light, or not, I'm sorry, Pebbled Path light, and just kind of did some sketchy ground right where we did our stamping. Okay. And I'll do just a little bit of dark around where our stamp was. Okay. And then this side, I did not do any stamping because this is where you would write your note. And then we're just going to add some flowers on each corner. Or not flowers. Listen to me, you guys. Oh, gosh. Birds. So there's two different birds. There's birds going in each direction here. And so I'm just going to do a different bird in each corner, just so that there's something that shows up at the top on this one. Okay. And then you would add your T. Now I'm going to leave this loose. Okay. And you would add your T. And then you would fold this up. Okay. And then we would tie it with our ribbon from the suite. So let's just tie this. I always have trouble talking and tying at the same time. Okay, there we go. And then you could trim this off. All right, and then we'll finish here. Put that back in our original card. Okay, I'm going to get my dimensionals for this one. Okay, here is our hello. And then let's do some more here. Okay. Now in this case, I think I would just kind of tuck it halfway. I don't want to color up my yellow flowers, so I think I'm just going to slide this up a little bit. We'll still stay closed. Okay, and then tuck this under so that we're not covering our meadow. Okay, and then just for this little blip that I had right here, we can take one of our birds. That one looks a little strange. This one would be great. And then let's see I think our dragonfly might be the one. Let's just do a little dragonfly there. And maybe another one coming down. Okay. All right, and so there are our cards. So if you really want to conserve on that DSP and you don't want to do the full panel, you could do the shorter panels. Okay, so there's the first one. And then here is the one that we just made on the live here. And then we also have our one horse open sleigh, which is also an online exclusive product that you could get right now. There's a bundle. There's these snowflakes in 3 different colors. There's the designer series paper. I believe it's all still available. And then here, just fold that. And then of course with this 3-color glimmer paper. And the 3-color glimmer paper will also be an online exclusive that will be available November 7th. You saw them on the table, but what I will do is I will get photographs of these. I will get a free project sheet out. I will get a replay posted. I always send that out by email. I'll post it on my Facebook group. If you guys have any questions for me, you can let me know. You can get the Meandering Meadow pre-order items. Demonstrators can order the 3-color glimmer paper, the Meandering Meadow Suite products right now. Fluffiest Friends, which I don't have to show you, unfortunately, but it is available as a pre-order item. Demonstrators can get them now. If you are interested in getting that starter kit, you can put pre-order items in your starter kit. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. There's an offer right now for Stampin' Up's 35th anniversary that you could either do 35% off or add 35% more in product, just whichever option would work better for you. But I just want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And then I hope to be back with you again tomorrow with another project and also on Wednesday. That is my plan. So fingers crossed, and I will have more information coming on those things. All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.